Right, we are parked at Overbury Old Village Shop, obviously in the village of Overbury, on the outskirts of Bredon Hill, and we're about to do one of my favourite little walks, which is about an 8.5 mile loop, starting at Overbury, going up Bredon, going along the top, and coming back down near a village called Conderton. There's a nice little pub there, so you can have a pub lunch after the walk, and I'll take you along and show you the main route. This village is just absolutely stunning. If you do the walk, you can do a little loop around there and have a look at the big house. There are many footpaths and bridleways up Bredon Hill. Some are steep, some are nice and smooth. We're just coming past one access now. I call it the Tarmac Drive, which is here. Now that is a tarmacked driveway, very, very smooth, very, very well serviced. That takes you probably about two-thirds of the way up to Bredon Hill, up to the top. So if you're elderly, or if you have difficulty walking, or you don't like the rough tracks, you can use that as an access, and it takes you up to the top very, very quickly. So this is the top of the village, and we are turning right by the very small little green with a wooden bench on the top. Beautiful tiny little cottages to my right. These are all rented out, all owned by the same family. Absolutely wonderful place to live, if you can afford the rent. I'm afraid the sun is right above me to the right hand side, so you might not get much of this. That's what they look like. Okay, so we're coming up to an old stone barn with a nice paddock next to it, and we're going to be turning left up the barn and start climbing up onto Bredon Hill. Now, you can park here. I choose not to, because there's not much parking, and if you're not careful, you'll start blocking off access for farmers, and we don't like that. So hence parking down in Overbury Village. It only adds on about half a mile to the route, and if you park in the village, you get to walk through the beautiful village. So I think it's a bit of a bonus. So there we go. It starts opening out in a little bit and levelling off, and you'll start to see and appreciate the beautiful views. So there we go, that's that section done. You've got another beautiful old barn there. It's lovely to see these barns still as they were, and not converted into 5-bedroom luxury houses. noticed a lot of the crops to the left hand side haven't been harvested yet. Where are we? We're in late August, about the 21st of August. Much of the harvesting has already been done, but we had a bit of a wet spell a few days ago, so I imagine if we get another little hot spell, which we hopefully will next week, once it's dried out, it'll be harvested. Now the other morning, I do a little bit of photography. The other morning I was up here and we had a little family of deer walking around in amongst these fields. It was a beautiful sight. I'll pop some pictures on in this video if I can find them, because it really is lovely to see. I'll just turn around so you can see some of the views. So Cheltenham's over that way, Gloucestershire, Broadway's over that way, and we got Dumbleton Hill over that way. A lovely day. A little bit windy. Hopefully you're not getting too much wind picking up on the microphone. Still keeping an eye open for any deer. Can't see any yet. We're going to continue on up this straight footpath. We're going to go past some pine trees on the left hand side, and then we're going to turn right and we'll be back on a hard tarmac footpath for a little while. There we go, there's our pine trees. It's nice to see the Overbury estate doing some replacement planting to maintain this lovely landscape. You know, we do lose trees either through high wind or through fungal infections. It's always good to see them being replaced. So we're going to continue walking on up, then we'll turn a left and then onto the tarmac drive. So there we go. You can go straight on, but we're going lefty lefty. It's getting really rather windy up here. We had a storm come through yesterday, well, last night, and this is just the remnants of the storm. So we continue along here for probably about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and then we turn right up a nice tarmac road, up to a lovely farmhouse surrounded by beech trees, and then we'll be taking a left, but I'll put the camera on so you can see where you are. There we go, look at those views. That's where we've walked up from. Absolutely beautiful. Now we're a bit more sheltered here, so hopefully you can hear me. We're going to be walking up here, up to that line of beech trees at the top. These fields had all-seed rape, and they've recently been harvested. We're going to be going past, we've got an old ash tree over there that lost its top, and just poking its head up to the left of the ash tree is what's known as the tower. I think the official name is Parson's Folly, but I'll show you that a little bit later. So do you remember at the beginning of the walk I showed you a route to the left where, you know, if you had walking difficulties, or you're a little bit old, or you've got a disabled buggy, you could take that route, and that route brings you up to here. It's a beautiful walk, takes you straight down there. So yeah, and it brings you, it's tarmac all the way, probably 2/3 or 3/4 of the way up to Bredon. But we're going right. And I'll catch you again towards the top by the beech trees. There we go. I always thought if I ever won the lottery, I would like to live there. I think it's the shepherd's property. It used to be completely surrounded by beech trees, but I suspect if you have a look at that tree there, you see where the canopy is not so dense as the tree to the right. Well, I suspect the trees are host to a fungal pathogen called Muripilis. It's called Muripilis giganteus. The common name is giant polypore. And each fungi, they tend to decay different parts of the tree. And Muripilis likes to decay the underside of the main supporting roots. So you can imagine if a fungus decays the main supporting roots, eventually the tree falls down. And you can see up there in the crown, see where that's dying back. Well, generally, if it is confirmed that this Muripilis, the beech trees are host to Muripilis, once the fungal pathogen has decayed the main supporting roots, it then moves on to the finer, smaller, water-absorbing roots. And when that starts to happen, you start to get the telltale symptoms in the crowns behind me. So you can probably guess I teach arboriculture at my local land-based college. So if I was the landowner, I'd be looking out in the autumn for huge, great fruiting bodies around the base of the tree. And if you see those fruiting bodies, then you need to contact a qualified arborist to survey the trees and make sure that they're okay and they're not going to fall down and squash your house. So we took a left at the top of that road, and we're now leveling off and we're walking towards the summit of the hill, and we're going straight past the old ash tree that lost its top a long time ago. So I'll catch you in a minute. And we're just going straight on. There we go. We're at the rather poorly looking ash tree. Sorry if I sort of go on about trees rather a lot in these videos. There's a couple of theorems that we teach in arboriculture. One of them is the principle of an undamaged tree is a self-optimizing structure, and the other one is the principle of the minimal lever arm. So you can see that this ash tree, once upon a time, lost its main stem. It was probably struck by, it was struck by lightning. You can see the lightning scar going down to the ground. So the top of the tree fell out, and we had this original lateral branch remaining on the ash tree. Now trees want to survive, and if this tree was healthy, unfortunately it's got ash dieback now, so it's dying back. If this tree was healthy, this lateral branch wouldn't continue growing out and out and out and out and out, because if it did, the tree would become unbalanced and it would topple over, it would become unstable. So what this branch would do gradually over time, and it started to already, would be to grow out and then back in towards the stem, and then it will carry on going straight upwards, and that would re-establish the tree's centre of gravity, so it would carry on living for many years. But as I said, unfortunately ash dieback has got the better of it, but it's still a beautiful tree, and it's definitely a bit of a landmark. You can see the lightning scar there, look. But of course it's still good for wildlife. There's lots of invertebrates that will make good use of that tree. So it's nice to see, and hopefully the landowner will just let it slowly decline and have a dignified, slow death. So we're coming up onto the top of the hill now. You can see the tower. We've got a bit of an old sheep enclosure here that's very old. I don't know if you can see in the video, but we have different stone here on that part of the wall, and it's always kind of intrigued me whether that stone was robbed out from an old building, maybe an old barn, but it's definitely, it's different from your normal quarried stone. But anyway, let's continue up. And onwards. Now you can follow this path straight around to the right, and that will take you directly to the tower, but I tend to turn left here, which will be shown up on the route map, and it just does a little bit of a dog leg. We're still going to the tower. It's just me doing things differently. So we're going to continue on down, then we're going to turn right at the top, and I'll see you again when we're there. It's a lovely sky today. So we're going right here and up towards the tower. Let's just have a look at the view while we're here. It might be too windy on the top. So you've got the Malvern Hills, so we've got Eastnor on the left and British Camp. Down there we've got Eckington, we've got Burlingame, we've got a wiggle in the river known as the Swan's Neck. Absolutely lovely up here. And there we've got Pershore Abbey. Beautiful. Right. Onwards to the tower. If you're doing this walk with a family, obviously this is an ideal place to have a picnic. So bring a packed lunch and a couple of drinks. You can sit at the tower and you can admire the views. I haven't bought a picnic, I won't be stopping. I've got my camera in the bag, but I haven't taken any pictures yet. Now this little fella down here is known as the Elephant Rock. If I just walk round to the side, you can see it resembles the shape of an elephant. And there is a local legend that when the abbey bells strike at midnight, the elephant comes alive and goes down to the River Avon and drinks from the river. And it trots back up here and returns to its petrified elephant state. And when I was little, there used to be a sort of a tradition or a craze of getting stone and writing your names in the stone on the banks. That seems to have died a death now, which is kind of a shame. It used to be nice. You used to get marriage proposals and all sorts written up here. There is a very good book, I think it's called A Hill Called Bredon. If I can find a picture of it, I'll pop it in the video. It's really interesting the things that used to go on in the tower and why the tower was built in the first place. Quite interesting. But we'll carry on. This has often, I was going to say fascinated me, but it's interesting. See this great big slab of stone, and you can see somewhere here, there, you can see the stonemason's mark. So obviously that piece of stone was used for something else once upon a time. If anybody knows, please feel free to pop a comment or suggestion in the comments section. But yeah, nice old bit of stone. So as we left the tower, we just walked along the top of the hill with the dry stone wall to our left, all the way up to this gate. Which has been rehung, which is lovely. And basically we're going to carry on down in a straight line until we get to another gate. And I'll see you there. That path there to the left, that takes you down towards Elmley Castle. We're not going that way, we're just going straight on. So again, you can go left down to Elmley Castle, but we're going more or less straight on through the gate and just follow this footpath for probably a couple of miles. It's a lovely path. We've got beech trees to the left. Just mind out for these tree roots that could trip you up. So we're still continuing on this pathway. Apologies for the wind. It's quite exposed up here. So we've got a footpath on the right. We've got a nice bench on the left with some ramblers or walkers. Oh, that's good timing. I'm going to sit on this bench. I'm going to change the battery on my GoPro. So I'll catch you in a bit. Do you remember me mentioning Elmley Castle and the remains of where the castle used to be? Again, apologies for the wind noise. I don't know whether you can make it out, but you can just see the earthworks there of where the castle used to be, and you follow it down and there's the village of Elmley Castle. kind of a shame. There's a delivery truck right outside the pub. That's the yew tree. Okay. Highly recommended. There you go. And there's the yew tree. So we're turning right at the bottom by the pub, and then it's just a short walk along the pavement back to Overbury and back to the car. It's a nice house. We'll go past the cricket ground in a tick, so it's all ever so English. That's for sale. Nice. Right, we'll see you in a bit. Someone's mowed stripes onto the grass verge. I mean, how many places actually, how many people go to the trouble of mowing stripes onto the grass verge? That used to be an old pub. Been restored, it's now private property. And I presume this was an old toll house. So heading into Overbury now. There's the village cricket ground. Would have been nice if they were playing cricket today. But then again, today's Friday. And you've got Overbury First School on the left, and just around the corner is the end of our walk. So I'm going to go home now. I'll download this video, and if it looks any good, I'll piece it together and I'll publish it on YouTube. If you like the content and you want any more, let me know and I'll take the GoPro out with me again. Highly recommend walking. I mean, I used to do a lot of mountain biking when I was younger. But walking, it's slower, it's gradual, it's relaxing. You get into a rhythm, and it's just so good for the soul. So hopefully catch you again soon.